What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Market Wrap. Exciting day today. There was a lot of volatility, and the same sectors again for the third consecutive days playing out exactly the way we anticipated in the previous two episodes of the Market Wrap. So, the market, as expected, was pretty flattish and then bearish towards the very end. Bank Nifty was weak on the back of PNB's bad earnings. LIC Housing Finance was down 10%. We discussed that as well. Very poor numbers and very disappointing numbers. And I think M&M Finance is reporting tomorrow. So NBFCs could have a very volatile time tomorrow. And apart from that, there were a lot of bunch of movers, new earnings which were announced today, and a lot of news with respect to the fertilizers and the sugar space. So we will discuss all of that in today's episode of the Market Wrap. If you are new here, consider subscribing and liking the video if you like it and if you feel it adds value to your trading. So let's quickly get started. The first thing that we witnessed that there was weakness from the US close yesterday. So when we were doing when I was recording the video yesterday, US was down as soon as it opened, and I think from the highs it was down about 2.5%. Same thing carried on to India. We opened negative, both Nifty and Bank Nifty, and then we started to dump as soon as we opened. So there were a lot of banks which were weak, and I think there was weakness throughout. I think only Pharma and a bunch of. So if you can look at, if you can look in your screen, what you've seen is Reliance was steady today, and that is because of the windfall tax, benefit that the government announced. I will talk about that. That was leading to ONGC and Reliance doing pretty well. Otherwise, it was just a very subdued day. So Unilever down, Infi down, TCS. So IT again pulled back a little bit. But if you look at the broader market, you don't really see. Apart from Sun Pharma, and again the pharma theme continues to do well. We will talk more about that. Uh, uh, you know, but otherwise, very flat market, weakness across the board. Nifty and Bank Nifty both head on supply. Today we have the MPC meeting also tomorrow, so there is lots that will happen tomorrow, and tomorrow is also the first expiry of this month. So it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. Let's quickly check out what was there from the news flow perspective that we need to care about. So before I do that, I will just quickly set up my heat map just to show you where were the pockets of weakness. So if you look at Nifty 50, we had bunch of weak stocks. Even Maruti announced record production numbers. Even then the stock was down. Apart from that, Apollo Hospitals took a hit. Hero MotoCorp after disappointing numbers. iShares continues its down move after disappointing numbers. I told you Royal Enfield sales numbers were not that great. The markets were not really taking it in a very positive way. Apart from that, flattish performance. We did not have a lot of bearishness, at least from the Nifty 50 pack. But yes, we are starting to see some shorts being built up, and that's the reason I told you even yesterday. This is not the market to carry positions forward. This is a market to trade intraday and to take advantage of the volatility. So if you look at Bharti Airtel was down 3%. Now Bharti Airtel also reached the 1 million mark with their 5G customers. So I think that's good. And Bharti Airtel should be bought on dips. I think there is a big room for valuation upside in Bharti Airtel. So always keep this stock on radar. Now, if I talk about the stocks that did well, we've got these six stocks. Okay, so Hindalco and the entire metal pack. So today, even Vedanta, Hindalco, there are a bunch of other stocks which did well because of the China reopening thing. So I discussed this yesterday with you that there is a committee which is being set up in China for the reopening, and that led to higher, iron ore prices, higher fines prices, higher HRC prices in China and in Europe, and that is the reason why these stocks did occasionally well. Tech Mahindra we discussed yesterday, good set of numbers, and Tech Mahindra was up 1.5%, the only gainer in the IT pack amongst Nifty. Reliance and ONGC, I told you about the windfall tax. There is another adjustment that the government did, which is beneficial for both Reliance and ONGC since it's about oil and gas. Sun Pharma, we have been discussing about the strength of the pharma sector. We'll also talk about Syngene, how well this did. We also talk about Loris. So we discussed about all of those stocks in the previous episode. So all of them doing well. ITC again an outperformer amongst this flattish market. So again, on an overall basis, we got like a mixed bag performance today, and I think this is where we are starting to get some weakness in the market. So please be very, very particular if you're carrying any position forward. Now, coming back to the news flow. So let me just keep the screen as it is so that you can kind of have an overview of what happened in the market. And I will now move on to the news flow. And there's an important pieces of news flow that came in. So Macrotech developers, Loda, the recent IPO stock, they also announced earnings, good set of numbers by this real estate company, and they had also increased their revenue guidance and profit guidance, which means that they are still expecting more room on the upside. Now, on the contrary, we saw DLF and Golden Properties have a weak day today, and the reason for that was in Delhi. Arvind Kejriwal-led AAP government has stopped the construction activities due to high pollution in Delhi, and that's the reason there was some negative sentiment on the stock. Voltus, we discussed that had horrible numbers, and now interesting thing is Voltus is continuously losing market share in the AC business for the I think for the second or the third consecutive quarter. That's a bad sign. And that's pretty horrible. If you are a Voltus investor, I think this is the time you reconsider your investment. If you're not an investor, just a trader, I think you could even see weakness tomorrow in Voltus. Uh, Kansai Nerolac, paint company, again came out with numbers, not very good numbers, and that's the reason the stock was down today. SML Isuzu, the truck company, which also manufactures pickup truck, sales were down. But year on year in October month, previously they had 22% higher sales. This time they had 22% lower sales. So that's bad. Hero Motorcorp also, I think this is a stock that should be watched for tomorrow. Very bad numbers. We discussed that Hero Motorcorp also had like a 15-16% lower sales as compared to the same month in the previous year. So yeah, there is this slight weakness in auto that is starting to come in. Now, I was talking about the windfall tax that impacted ONGC and Reliance. So basically, there is something called the Special Additional Excise Duty (SAED), and the government of India, they pushed out a notification. They said that the SAED on crude petroleum is cut from 11,000 rupees per ton to 9,500 rupees per ton, which is good for margins of both Reliance and ONGC. And then the SAED on export of ATF. Hiked from 3.5 rupees per liter to 5 rupees per liter, and the export of diesel is hiked from 12 rupees a liter to 13 rupees a liter. So the main thing over here is the crude petroleum cut of the SAED, the excise cut over there was quite beneficial for both of these companies. However, there was one cut and there were two tariff hikes. So it kind of balances it out. So one good thing and two bad things, but the one good thing for them, which was a big deep cut on the crude petroleum, special excise, additional excise duty, was good for both the companies. If oil is strong tonight by the closing of our session and the American session, I think there could be a reason to watch out for ONGC and other oil companies. Now, since I'm talking about ONGC, I'll also talk about OMCs. Now, oil marketing companies like Hindustan Petroleum, Bharat Petroleum, BPCL, and Oil India. There were rumors that they're reducing prices of diesel and petrol by XYZ amount, and they clarified that these are fake rumors. So, if you've also read that piece of news, please ignore that because that's a fake piece of news. So that's about the SAED and about ONGC and Reliance, which I wanted to tell you. Apart from that, what we also saw is Punjab National Bank got some downgrades. Today the stock was down 2%. We already discussed that Punjab National Bank would actually lead other PSU banks to go lower, and we saw Indian Bank, Bank of Baroda, and a bunch of other stocks which took some profit booking. But there was one outlier, and that was Karnataka Bank. So Karnataka Bank is they announced earnings, and as soon as the earnings were announced in the morning, I think the stock was already up 17% due to a block deal. Now, if you don't know, Karnataka Bank is one of the major holdings of legendary investor Vijay Kedia, and today the stock was up 17-18%. Another outlier in banking space, but that was on the back of good numbers. Now, Chola Finance also reported earnings, healthy growth, but there are upgrades, but I think it's a risky stock, even to trade and even to invest. So I'll not comment on this. Tech Mahindra got some upgrades after decent performance, and Glenmark again. So the pharma news flow again starts. So Glenmark got ANDA nod from US FDA for sodium phenylbutyrate tablets, which is basically used in urea cycle disorders. So it's basically good for the American markets, and Glenmark has recently got two other FDA approvals. So watch out for Glenmark. In the next session. I think that could be good. Although this news came in the morning, there was not a lot of action in Glenmark, but I think the overall pharma space is doing really well. Now, Alembic Pharma also gets another final US FDA nod for mesalamine extended release capsules, which is basically an anti-inflammatory drug. So again, two, pharma companies again and again coming in, US FDA getting approved. That's good for growth. Now, Panache Digital Life gets incentive scheme not for telecom products. This is a new stock, Panache Digi Life. This is a good news for them. Like, this is a good expansion play, but this should be played as a swing trade and not an intraday trade. Now, Tech Mahindra. So there's one important key thing that you need to know about their earnings. So the management said that product and geography mix was the reason why their growth was trailing Infosys, TCS, and other companies, because their business, the business that they get from America is 49% of the total business. But companies like Infosys, TCS, Wipro, they get more than 70% there. So US markets were growing, and hence Infi, TCS did not feel that hit. But Tech Mahindra, if you look at the charts, it's underperforming, and the reason is they had a decent revenue mix even coming from Europe, and you all know that Europe has been a weaker market as compared to America. So they basically clarified that. Voltus was down 1.5%. I think I've covered that. Now, there was also, Max Healthcare's management telling that dengue cases are increasing, and that's leading to more, occupancy or higher capacity utilization. So they say that the patient levels are 110% of the pre-COVID levels now. So that means that it has normalized, and these healthcare and hospital stocks today, they did not do well, but overall the theme is playing out really well. So please make sure make sure that you're watching that. Now, India Cements up 3%. Now, I will move on to what I'll do right now is this is Nifty 50. Now, let me show you what the broader markets did today, and I will just change my universe of stocks to all Indian companies, and I'll just make one filter over here. Just allow me a moment. So what we saw, I was talking about India Cements. So India Cements basically, uh, again, we were discussing about the cement sector doing extremely well, and we saw India Cements again up 3%, and the cement theme continues to play well. So we've had discussions previously that India Cements was, India Cements, Ultratech, Shree Cement, all of them were doing extremely well, primarily because of the fact that the cement numbers, the cement production numbers, and the revenue numbers were higher throughout. So now, if you look at the Nifty 500, you look at a few things. So you look at Star Health, you look at Max Health, and you look at Zydus Life, you look at Oro Pharma, again, Gland Pharma, all of them from the Pharma pack. Sun Pharma is also there. So now this is no coincidence that these pharma, even Zydus Life, this is no coincidence that pharma stocks are doing well. Now, ABB India, we see Hindustan Zinc, we see Hindalco. So Jindal Steel, Hindalco, Vedanta, all of these stocks, and Steel Authority of India Limited. I told you yesterday, any good news about China reopening, these stocks, these China heavy stocks starts moving well. We also have another pharma stock, which is Alchem Labs over here. So all in all, we've seen good action in pharma stocks, and we've seen good action, in stocks which are reporting earnings. And specifically, what we've seen is pharma, healthcare, and ancillary sectors has done extremely well. So I think this is largely this is going to continue. Syngene was up 3.5%. Laurus Labs was up 2%. So even those stocks did well. Now let me open up the heat map again and then show you which stocks did not do well. So the stocks which were kind of flat, we'll just remove them, and I will move on to stocks which did not do well. So what you can clearly see is that NHPC took taking a hit. PNB we'd already discussed. Two-wheeler stocks, TVS Motors also takes a hit. JSW Energy takes a hit. Bandhan Bank, we traded Bandhan Bank today. I'm going to break that trade down also for you. And what you also saw is IndusInd Bank. So overall weakness in banks coming in. IT is getting some profit booking, and yeah, more or less, if you look at here in this entire region, we don't really see, apart from Godrej Properties. I already told you the reason. Look at Indian Bank. That's also down about 2%. Again, the banking space showing some signs of weakness. So that is basically, the stocks which did not do well, and the stocks which did do well. So that's a decent enough comparison. Now, if I increase my universe a little more, I'm going to just show you the stocks, more stocks which did well, and we'll talk about them one by one. So we see JK Cement coming in, another cement name. Laurus Labs we've already had a discussion about. We've seen some chemical names there. So we see Deepak Nitrite, we see Aarti Industries over here. We see Gujarat Sorochem over here. So chemicals are picking up, and again, this is like a pro-China theme, because China reopening is basically these three Aarti, Deepak, and GF Gujarat Fluorochemicals make chemicals which are used by Chinese companies, and they are having a shortage of that. So we see those things coming in. Another healthcare stock, which is Fortis, which is coming in over here, and Syngene. I spoke about Syngene. Sun TV also did well today. I was not tracking the stock. Grindwell Norton earnings announcement came in. So another pharma name, Pfizer, over here. Fine Organics, another chemical name. Ajanta Pharma, another pharma name. So you've seen since the last 3 days, pharma companies are just coming up again and again and again. And now, if I reverse this and I show you the stocks which did not do well, if I open, these, so I think we more or less have the same amount of, companies. So what you've seen is some defense companies have taken a hit. So if you look at BDL, I think even HAL took a hit today. So watch out for if you are looking to invest in defense companies. I think that's one of the good things to invest in, and take use of this dip to actually make sure. I mean, to add some quantity or your positions in defense stocks, because uh, smart people in the industry have said that defense is the next IT. That means a lot of defense order book is going to be built up. And since defense is a sector which is backed up by the government, I think it's important. Now, we also saw sugar stocks do well. So I think we'd had a discussion about Balrampur Chini since Monday, and Balrampur Chini is up 7 or 8% from that prices. We've seen ethanol prices being hiked, and we've seen subsidies coming in nutrient-based subsidy rate for PNK fertilizers, and that's the reason why a lot of fertilizer stocks were down. Even Chambal was down. So subsidy has increased, but it's basically taking another proposal, because as I told you, these fertilizer companies, they're benefiting for the reason that the prices of natural gases the gases have come down, but the subsidies had increased. So now the government may roll down the subsidies that they had given. Now, tourism finance large trade, 57 lakh shares worth 48 crores, executed on 85, another big block deal. Now, LIC Housing Finance, bad numbers. We've already spoken about that. So the loan growth. So what they said is that their net interest margins. I explained, I think 2 days back, that these NBFCs and banks need a higher net interest margin, and their NIM is just 2% now. So that's extremely bad. DLF, already spoken about DLF. Now let me check if I have missed out on any news update that I want to give you. Okay, so this IFCI, the government is planning to infuse 2,000 crores. This is a penny stock, 11 rupee stock. Today was up 10%, and they're merging this entity as well. So if you are an investor, something good for you. Mahindra Holidays, bad earnings, stock down 1.5%. Now, increase in ethanol prices is what's driving sugar stocks higher. So you look at EID Parry, you look at Balrampur Chini, you look at Andhra Sugar, you look at all these sugar names, they're doing well. Now, so the prices of ethanol from heavy molasses increased from 46 rupees to 49 rupees. So that's basically a 4% increase, and that's good. That goods revenue, good margin expansion. So nice, nice for sugar companies, and I think sugar is going to play well. So watch out for Balrampur Chini, Andhra Sugar, Dhampur Sugar. There's so many sugar companies, like EID Parry, Dalmia Bharat, etc. Now, we have also seen Precision Wires India. Precision Wires India to consider bonus. Stock was up 6% based on that. So again, not a intraday stock, but yeah, I mean, you can watch out for that for swing trading maybe. Now, next up is we have Cabinet also approved mechanism for procurement of ethanol by public sector OMCs, which also leads to sugar companies doing well. Now, AirAsia sold, I think, the remaining part of the stake to Air India. That's another piece of news. Now, last but not the least, we'll just quickly have a look at the stocks which were the best performing names today in the main Nifty 500 universe. So, Masdok. Okay, so these Cochin Shipyard, Masdok up 13%, Cochin Shipyard I think 6-7%, 5 or 6% up. Both of these shipbuilding companies have done extremely well. Reddington up 7%, Aster DM Healthcare, another healthcare name, up 6%. Alembic Pharma, I already told you that they got the FD approval, up 6% on that on that note. So these stocks have been doing well, and I'll just tell you on other outperformers. So we've seen Rajesh Exports, we discussed about that. These textile names, they did well. So EID Parry was also up 1%, another sugar name. Apart from that, is there Great Eastern Shipping Company, another shipbuilding company, and involved in shipping, that was also up 1.5, 2%. Apart from that, we saw, I spoke to you about Syngene, Hikal. Okay, so Hikal is also a chemical company and up 2.5%. Praj Industries sugar name up 2%. Uh, and Nuvoco Vistas again a cement name up 2%. So what you've seen is the same theme is just playing out very, very nicely. And we also saw Tanla Solutions 3% up. And I think, yeah, that's more or less it. Indiabulls Real Estate 4% up. So mixed numbers here and there. But what we need to understand is that the market is still at areas of supply. This outperformance may not continue further. So this is an intraday market right now. Now, with that being done, we've done with the news flow, we're done with what happened in the market overall. Now let's move to charts and let's try to understand what exactly is the scenario. So we had discussed in the previous episode that this is the most crucial supply for Nifty 50, and I think it's starting to get a reaction from there. So if you look at Nifty down 56 points, it closed about 64 points, in the in the futures market, and what you can clearly see that we are head on to this supply, and you should be very careful. So we were expecting some action from there, and this is what happened today in the morning, right? So this entire price chart tells you that we basically moved down about 100 points from the highs, and we have a lot of room on the downside to go. So we have this gap to get filled, we have this gap to get filled, we have this gap to get filled, and then we have this gap. So there are so many gaps. We can easily have a 600, 700 point dump, and don't be surprised if that happens. Now, Bank Nifty, we already had a discussion that it's way, way, way deep into supply. It opened, moved up to the top of the supply, and then started to move down. Now, this is the trade that we took. I will break this trade down shortly. I will tell you where did we enter, where did we exit. So we were basically experiencing a lot of weakness across the markets, and then our system triggered an entry right here. I will show the entry, exit, and the entire chat with you shortly. So coming on to the US markets, and this is US 500. So America is not open yet. So what we can understand is we see that this is yesterday, America's market. Okay, so it's already 7:30. Yeah, the market's open, and we have seen the markets dumped as soon as it opened. We can see Tesla down. We can see US 100 also down. And what you've seen is that this is good signs of bearishness. I mean, for traders who are bearish on the market, and we at least have room all the way until here. So we can expect S&P 500 to easily dump 1.5, 2% before it takes any respite. So please be aware if you are extremely bullish, sorry, on the market. I think this is not the time to be bullish. I think this is time to be cautious, and the markets are showing signs of weakness. So please keep a watch on that as well. If you look at the OI data, and what we are seeing over here is that there is lots of put unwinding that took place today. So we this expiry, we do not have a lot of call writing, but if you look at the overall open interest, so we've seen good support at 18,000, and you're starting to see build up over here. So it's unlikely to go to 18,300, 400, 200. So we've seen call build up, but we have extremely strong support at 18,000. So we break 18,000 and we directly jump to 17,800. So there could be a 200 point fall tomorrow. So I think that's a very good there's a high likelihood of that happening if America is weak. So this is US 500, S&P 500. If it stays weak, I think we could see, immense action. On the commodity front, we can clearly see natural gas over here. Natural gas up 7%, making a comeback now. Falling natural gas prices are good for the Indian economy and the entire fear of inflation that is being, pending. Silver making absolutely good moves. I will break down the silver trade. We've got like a very, very decent, entry point in silver. So I will also break that down for you. And apart from that, base metals are not doing that well. So today, if you look at zinc, is still down. If you look at aluminium, it's flattish, and I think even copper, yeah, that's also flattish. So commodities, nothing is happening. Oil is moving down from the highs, and lots of weakness over there. Oil, I think it's still trying to retrace from the 85 levels, and I think where oil is headed towards, and there is going to be a Fed meet also. So there's going to be lots of things happening in oil and the dollar index, and hence it's going to take place in the American markets as well. So, lots of stuff over there to actually watch out for. Now, I'm just going to quickly break down the trades that we took today so that you can learn from those trades as well. So, I'm going to open up the screen in front of you. So, just to give me a moment, and we will start off with that. Okay, there we go. So this is the first trade that we were trying to take. So we were kind of bearish on the markets from the start. So, we were post 12 o'clock, we traded and we shorted Bank Nifty somewhere around here when the structure looked something like this, right? So this is how the structure was looking. And yeah, we traded Bank Nifty like that. For option, so this is the futures trade. For options traders, there was an entry around here. I'd already marked over there. You're looking at an in-fee gap play. There was a gap fill play over there, so a retracement. And then we also shorted Bandhan around this structure. So, and we also attempted a short trade with a half risk on escorts. We were expecting a down move over there. HDFC twins at this point of time when the market was showing a structure like this, they were quite strong, HDFC Bank and HDFC, and that is actually leading to the markets kind of holding off. So then we saw that the move started to happen and Bank Nifty started to dump really nicely. Same happened with Bandhan. You can see it over here, and Bank Nifty continued its dump. Same with Bandhan, and there was a very nice move that we captured in Bank Nifty, and this is where we booked our half-hour position, and this is where we exited it fully. Bandhan over here, we were seeing good action and escorts. However, the stop loss was triggered, so we were down 0.5 hour over there, and we started to see momentum in Bandhan and we booked the rest. So we basically, made about 3 hour, and this is what Bank Nifty did towards the end of the day. So bearishness kicking in right from the start, and we made about 3 hour from our trade over here. So that's a wrap from me, and I would just like to tell you that tomorrow is an MPC meeting, so just make sure that you're not trading aggressively. There's going to be the weekly expiry as well. MPC meeting also, stocks are looking bearish. So I think it's better to either stay cash, or if you are trained enough to trade these volatile markets, be involved in that, because I think there are lots of opportunities for traders. Thank you so much for joining me here. Please consider subscribing and hit a thumbs up if you like the video. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow. All the best.